The woman sitting next to me on the plane just said something she had no way of knowing. Not a guess, not something obvious, something specific, the kind of thing I hadn't even said out loud to anyone. I turned to her slowly, trying to figure out if I heard her right, because there was no way she should know that. And the worst part? She said it like it was nothing, like she had known me for years. I wasn't even supposed to be on that flight. I had changed my ticket the night before, not because I wanted to travel, but because I needed to get away. Everything in my life had been falling apart quietly. No big explosion, no dramatic moment, just things slipping, slowly. The kind of breakdown nobody notices until you're already deep in it. I had just come out of a relationship that lasted 4 years, and it didn't end with shouting. It ended with silence. Cold, uncertain, final. At the same time, work wasn't going well. I was making mistakes I never used to make, missing details, forgetting things, showing up physically but mentally checked out. I was tired all the time, but when it was time to sleep, my mind refused to rest. So I booked a flight. No plan, no clear destination, just movement. Because sometimes staying in one place hurts more than leaving. The airport was crowded that morning, people rushing, announcements echoing, suitcases rolling. Everything felt normal. Except me. I felt disconnected from all of it, like I was watching life happen, but not really inside it. When I got on the plane, I just wanted silence. No conversations, no energy, just headphones and distance. I found my seat. Window. That helped. Then I noticed the seat next to me was empty. Relief, at least for a moment. Then, just before boarding closed, she arrived. She wasn't loud, didn't rush, didn't look stressed. She just walked in calmly, placed her bag above, and sat down beside me. She gave a small smile. I nodded and turned back to the window. That was all I wanted. No conversation. The plane took off, and for about 20 minutes, everything was quiet, exactly how I needed it. I leaned my head against the window, closed my eyes, and tried to breathe. But my mind wouldn't stop. It kept replaying everything. Conversations, regret, moments I wished I handled differently. That heavy feeling in your chest when something is over, but your heart hasn't accepted it yet. Then I heard her voice. "Long week?" I opened my eyes slowly. I almost ignored her, but something about her tone made me respond. "Yeah," I said quietly. "You could say that." She nodded, like she understood more than I had said. Then she went quiet again, and I thought that was it. But a few minutes later, she spoke again, and that's when everything changed. "You didn't lose her the way you think you did." My body went still. I turned to her fully this time. "What did you just say?" She didn't look at me immediately, just kept her eyes forward, calm. Then she repeated it. "You didn't lose her the way you think you did." My heart started racing, because I hadn't mentioned anything about a relationship, not a word. I studied her face, looking for something familiar. Anything. Nothing. "Do I know you?" I asked. She shook her head. "No." That made it worse. "Then how would you know?" She turned to me then, and her eyes were calm. Too calm. "You've been blaming yourself," she said. My throat tightened. She continued, "But you've been ignoring how tired you were even before it ended." I looked away, because that was true. Painfully true. You were trying to hold something together that had already started breaking. I couldn't respond, because now it felt like she was inside my thoughts, the exact ones I never shared, not with friends, not with family, not even fully in prayer, just thoughts, private ones. "How do you know this?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she said something else. "You think leaving made you weak." I swallowed hard. "But staying would have cost you more." That hit deeper than everything else, because I had thought that exact sentence alone just days ago.
Now here it was, coming from someone I had never met. "This doesn't make sense," I said. She smiled slightly. "Not everything does, in the moment." Then she reached into her bag, pulled out a small piece of paper, wrote something down, and handed it to me. I hesitated, then took it. I opened it slowly. It was a verse, "And we know that in all things God works for the good." My chest tightened instantly, because earlier that week I had seen that same verse, ignored it, scrolled past it. I didn't want something that simple. It felt too easy, too clean. Now it was back, right in my hands. I looked at her. "How did you know I needed this?" She leaned back in her seat, then said something I'll never forget. "Because you asked." I frowned. "I didn't ask you." She shook her head slightly. "Not me." And that's when it hit me. The quiet prayers, the questions I had whispered when no one was around. Suddenly, they didn't feel unanswered anymore. I sat there, holding that paper, trying to process everything. Then I turned to say something else, but she had closed her eyes, like the conversation was finished. And strangely, I didn't interrupt. I just sat there for the rest of the flight. Something had shifted inside me. Not everything, but enough to breathe again. When we landed, I gathered my things slowly, still thinking, still trying to understand. I stood up, turned to her, but she was gone. Not in the aisle, not grabbing her bag. Gone. I stepped into the terminal, looked around, crowds everywhere, but not her. No trace, nothing. And in that moment, I stopped trying to explain it, because some moments are not meant to be explained. They're meant to be received. That flight didn't fix everything overnight. I still had healing to do, still had things to rebuild, but something had changed. I wasn't carrying everything alone anymore. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace, real peace. So, if you've been feeling like things are falling apart, like your questions are going unanswered, maybe they're not. Maybe you just haven't recognized the answer yet. If this story stayed with you, like this video and subscribe, because sometimes the answers you're waiting for are closer than you think.